Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this month's IQ Academy webinar. Thank you for taking time out to join us on our bite-sized session this month, where we'll be taking a look at inspiring futures in mineral extractives with Anthony Elgey of MP Futures. Our Lunch and Learn webinar sessions are aimed at helping support you and develop your knowledge on key issues within the industry, and so your feedbacks are really important to us on these. If you have a chance to complete the short questionnaire at the end of today's session, it'll be very much appreciated and helps to ensure we can continue to give these relevant to your needs. Time permitting today, we'll try and answer any questions that you send through. You can send these through on the questions panel just to the right of your screen. If we don't get a chance to cover any of those, we'll ensure they're addressed in the follow-up materials that are following out to you after the event. Our upcoming webinars for the next couple of months include Basis of Plant Design with Nick Peatling from NIRAC and Empowering People Through Great Leadership with Julian Smallshaw of IQ. You can register or find out more information on these by visiting the events page on the IQ website. The address for that is just at the bottom of the screen now. Branches are also running a couple of events during July. Details are available on the current slide. For further information on these, please contact your local branch secretaries, and contact details for those are available on the branches page of the IQ website. And don't forget also, if you're visiting Hillhead next week to drop by the IQ stand, you can find us in the registration area on stand RB26, and we'll be running a member raffle to all those attending and showing us your IQ membership card. And any of you bringing along a new member that signs up can walk away with an exclusive centenary item. And that's enough from me, so I'll hand you over to Anthony.
Thank you very much, Dave, and warm welcome to everyone who's tuned in for this particular IQ webinar on inspiring futures. The title I've put on here is do you have the industry bug? So I'm going to assume that many people who are tuned in for this do love the industry that you're in, feel really passionate about it, as well as your own personal development. And this is probably why you're taking part in these IQ webinars and obviously continuing with your CPD. So industry bug, I'm going to return back to that later in the presentation, but it's pretty much about the people who are participating in this particular project feel really passionate and want to give something back, which is pretty much the crux of this project. So you've probably seen some of these statistics before, but it's just worth reminding everybody as to where we currently are in the sector. So the average age in the industry is around 55. This has been substantiated by the MP Futures Labour Market Information Survey, as well as data collected from the Mineral Products Association. Just 17% of our current workforce is below the age of 34, which is obviously not great. 90% of our operational staff have indicated that they're white English male, and we're currently looking at a workforce from migrant population of around about 12%. 60% of MPQC member companies are reporting that they currently have vacancies. So we have an aging demographic, we have a low population of people below 34, as well as quite a high number of vacancies within employers in the MPQC membership. So interestingly, a lot of employers are saying to us that they would like to offer work experience, work placements, traineeships. However, only 39% are promoting their company, actively promoting their company to young people. And even worse, only 22% currently have had contact with schools and colleges to try to raise awareness and dispel some of the myths around the sector. So this is something that clearly we need to do, or the whole industry needs to do some work around this area. And there is certainly companies within the MPQC membership and companies I've talked to who are doing some fantastic work in this area. But on the whole, the majority of the employers obviously would like to do better than what they're currently doing. So doesn't need me to remind you that obviously the looming of the leaving of the EU is going to cause major changes to the UK employment market. We are looking at a skills crisis. This is information that's coming out from numerous sources, including the MPA. It's not just a concern for large businesses. You know, I talk to a lot of SMEs who are concerned about the future, especially when they're going to be losing a majority of their workforce over the next 10 years. So business as usual is no longer an option, as it says at the top. So we do need to do something. And we're not the only ones. If I now show you information that's come out from the MPA's vision for 2025, it's no surprise that people are part of that vision, and they're looking for professional, competent people, and they're wanting to attract new workers, as the whole sector is. So it's no surprise that it's in the MPA's vision for 2025. Also no surprise that it's also in the IQ aims and objectives, is to promote IQ, industry and careers, and secure new talent. It's in everyone's interest that we have a sustainable workforce pipeline. We start to attract new innovative young talent into the sector to make sure that the sector continues to innovate, to move forward and progress. So we desperately need to attract that new talent. So the MPQC board and council, which are made up from employers, basically said to my part of MPQC, which is MP Futures, that I'm to put forward a proposal, a plan of how MPQC could go about helping employers to tackle this particular issue. So a plan was put forward, as well as looking at other plans or projects within the construction sector, such as the Construction Youth Trust. The MPQC Board Council, along with the Young Leaders Forum, voted unanimously for a plan that was put forward by MP Futures. The Board and Council decided to kick it off, that they would initially fund it from MPQC surplus monies. So MPQC, as you probably know, reinvest any surplus monies back into the sector. So this is a great vehicle for us to reinvest. And what the board and council decided is that they needed one organisation to coordinate all of the efforts of all of the different employers in the sector, and as they put it, drag us kicking and screaming to help tackle this particular problem. So they said MP Futures should be that organisation to coordinate and put forward this project, this plan, and make it happen. So researching of how we could tackle this, one thing I started to look at is a government initiative called STEM Learning. Now, some of you may have heard of STEM ambassadors. You may even be a STEM ambassador yourself. So I became a STEM ambassador to learn firsthand what's involved and how it works, and whether it's something that our sector could use. So it's a government-backed initiative. So the government determined to raise awareness of STEM issues. As it says at the top left there, STEM means science, technology, engineering and mathematics. All of these particular topics, the UK are not doing very well when compared to other countries. So this is where STEM learning has stepped in, with the government pushing it to try to improve the awareness and uptake in these areas. So schools now are measured, they have KPIs on STEM engagement or STEM activities, so they're actively looking for ways to interact with the students and raise awareness of these subjects. So STEM ambassadors are actively sought out by schools. So there's 150 emails a week go out from STEM learning, and these are schools looking for a STEM ambassador to come and help teachers and enthuse and interact with students to raise awareness of industry and where science, technology, engineering and mathematics can play a part. And obviously in this industry, they all play a huge role. STEM ambassadors will be trained by STEM learning, and also you gain an insurance policy, a government insurance policy, which means if you go into a school and you have a policy, insurance policy that covers any activities while you're there. So it also gives the teachers and schools a lot of confidence that the STEM ambassador has been trained, and also everything's covered in any activity that you do. So my experience of becoming a STEM ambassador and the activities that I participated in, trying to raise awareness of the sector, I felt that this was a great vehicle to hang the project off. So what is Inspiring Futures? As you can see on the screen, it's creating a mechanism that enables and assists all employers in the sector to engage with their local schools, colleges or universities. It's going to give the employers the ability to promote the sector and their business, dispel myths, and show that our industry can offer diverse and engaging careers to potential or future employees. So not just in schools, but people out there now who may be looking for a career. Where could they go? What might be of interest? Even looking at military career transition. Inspiring Futures is a way of enabling employers to put themselves out there and raise awareness of our vital industry and also their business. Some of the objectives of this particular project. One of the first things that I felt that the project needed to do was to have a unifying brand or logo for all activities. So if you can imagine CITB, and CITB go to a lot of schools and colleges already, and when young people see this CITB logo, they know exactly that it means construction. So it doesn't need explaining. Their awareness of that brand is already there, and the connection to the construction industry. As you probably know, if you've ever had an experience of telling people what it is that you do and the area you work and the sector, and you start explaining extractives, it's difficult to explain. It's not something that people can automatically grasp. You're eventually saying, oh, it's quarrying or it's mining, and then you get into a conversation like, oh, I didn't know mining still existed. You know how it works. So what we do need to create is a unifying brand or logo that young people can start to make the link between the quarrying, extractives, mineral processing industry, and having some graphical representation that all employers can use. So when they're doing activities that tries to aim towards young people or attracting people to their business, they can obviously use their own brand or logo, but link it with this new one. Link it with something that we can help connect young people to our sector. We will develop a cohort, an army of STEM ambassadors who will be invited to schools and be able to talk about our industry. So Inspiring Futures, we will coordinate these STEM ambassadors. We will help them get to schools. We will show them where schools are looking for particular STEM ambassadors, and we can see that what the school is looking for, we can link to the industry really easily. As I've said, that there's some employers out there already doing fantastic work, and obviously we applaud that. We also want to learn from these employers. There's clearly some fantastic and best practice out there. So we want to learn from that. We want to be able to share these ideas with other employers who may want to get into this area but just don't know how. So we want to be able to put information, packs together, and obviously learn from these really good activities. We want to develop a pool of resources for these ambassadors. The worst thing you would want is to walk into a school and stand in front of a class of young people and just be and stuck for words. So what we wanted to do is ensure that these ambassadors who go into schools are armed, are ready, have resources that they can pull out that are already predefined, preset, and they can deliver with confidence. And I'm really happy to say that we have 5 of these activity packs already created. And these activity packs are called CREST Awards, and they're backed by the British Science Association. So these students who undertake these CREST Awards will actually gain UCAS points. So it's really valuable in their career. And there's independent research that shows that students who undertake CREST Awards actually do better in school and in their eventual exam results. So we're really, really pleased to be able to say we have 5 preset activities that link to our sector and raise awareness of it. And it's got a great vehicle and a great reputation behind it of these CREST Awards. Some more objectives is we clearly want to promote a network of employer sites that can cater for young people or college or students to come and see what you do. One of the greatest advantages that we have is being able to show what we do, and we have quarries and concrete plants, asphalt plants, all of these units are right around the country, so there's going to be something near to a school. So we can go in and talk to young people about what we do. It's even better to show them. You all know when young people see the types of operations, see the machinery operating and what we do, they're enthused, they're excited. It means something that they talk about for weeks on end after, and they also talk to their friends and family. We'll be providing support materials for employers. So you're all very, very busy people, and some of you are probably thinking the last thing I need is a school bus of young people coming round. How do I cater for that? What do I do? I can see it's valuable, but I don't know what to do. Well, Inspiring Futures is about providing support materials for you. So if you want to hold a visit, let us know. We can get a box of activity materials, we can get PPE, everything to you. So then you can just focus on what you do best, making sure the site runs safely, making sure that people can go around the site in a safe manner. Everything else arrives in a lovely big box for you. We want to develop a specific website and also media that's aimed at young people, teachers, parents, as well as the STEM ambassadors themselves. One of the brilliant ideas from a STEM ambassador was this is something they see as it transcends a company brand. When I become a STEM ambassador, they feel they're part of a unique community. They feel that they can talk to each other openly about what worked, what didn't work, and they want ways of being able to communicate with other STEM ambassadors and share ideas and share what really worked for them, share best practice. So we're going to develop a specific website and some sort of social media portal where STEM ambassadors can go in and do that. So obviously there'll be lots of resources for young people, for teachers, as well as for parents. It's all about raising awareness of vital industry and the impact it makes. We want to, or have established a steering group. So I was really eager for that it wouldn't be just me standing at the front all the time. I actually want this project to be delivered and driven by both STEM ambassadors and employers who wanted this to happen in the first place. So we've had 3 steering group meetings so far, and everything's been very positive so far. The steering group has been brilliant in making sure this project stays on the right tracks, does not start to scope creep, make sure that it's always delivering its aims and objectives, and always suggesting some brilliant ideas. So the steering group works really, really well. We have around 25 people attending the steering groups on a regular basis, which is fantastic commitment and engagement. So Inspiring Futures. Future recruitment issue does affect us all. Like I said before, many employers already do some great work in this area already. But the key for me, being in the industry for 22 years so far, now being part of MPQC, I really see that collaboration is going to be the key to success. One organisation, be it MPQC, the Institute of Quarrying, Mineral Products Association, whoever, none of them could just do this on their own. It needs industry collaboration, which is why I'm really pleased to say that Inspiring Futures has got the full support from the Institute of Quarrying, as well as the British Aggregates Association, the Mineral Products Association, the Institute of Asphalt Technology, the Institute of Concrete Technology. And it was a really easy sell. They absolutely get the project, they get why we're doing it, and of course they said they would give full support. This is our industry project. And as it says at the bottom, and I truly believe this, that if we don't crack this issue now, we may never crack this issue. So, industry ambassadors. We're developing a cohort of industry ambassadors. So how does that work? The first thing is we deliver some free training to these ambassadors. It's split into 2 halves. The first half of the training is delivered by STEM themselves, which is mandatory training to become an ambassador. And as you can imagine, it's how to deal with young people, what to do or say if you're approached by a young person who's saying something inappropriate, or if you've identified something inappropriate. So it's all about how to handle yourself when you're going in and engaging with anyone younger than 16. We then carry on that training and we deliver the second half of the day by MPQC trainers. This training is basically how to link what you do to make it interesting for young people, how to giving you the confidence to be able to go in and do it, the tricks of the trade, some confidence building training. We give you all of this. You'll receive access to the support materials as well as the school projects that we've already developed. as I've said previously, you will get access to a dedicated website and portal which you can use as a STEM ambassador, as well as gather information and talk to other ambassadors. You will become part of a growing, unique community. MPQC and the Institute of Quarrying will also deliver Industry Ambassadors Awards, and there will be more information coming out because these ambassadors are volunteers. They're going out to schools and colleges, universities, talking about our sector, and they're volunteering to do this. So we want to thank them for this volunteering that they're doing, and we want to thank them for the great work that they're doing on behalf of not just their own company, but the entire sector.
I've come along today to try and help inspire people to get into the industry. I got into this industry through my background in geology, so I knew about it for many years, but a lot of people fall into this industry by accident, and I think it's really important that we get the message out there about the mineral products industry so we can attract more people, and not just people by accident. I think Inspiring Futures will work really well to get people into our industry because it's a collaborative effort between lots of companies within the mineral products industry, and that's really important to get the different ideas from people all over the industry. And also using the STEM Ambassador Network, which is a proven model, going into schools using the material that they have. So that's really important for us to get the message out into schools in the most appropriate way. So the STEM Ambassador Programme will help us do that.
So that was James Bowen, one of our industry ambassadors. James obviously explained there why he felt passionately about volunteering and wanting to participate in this particular project. And we thank James for recording that video for us. I felt it was important for you to see and hear why one of these employees has come forward and said, I want to be part of this, and this is why. So far, where are we on Inspiring Futures? We've got nearly 100 industry ambassadors trained across the UK. We're going to break that 100 barrier very, very quickly with our next training session that we've already arranged. We have now engaged with over 800 young people, which is fantastic. We expected to do that in our first year. We've already achieved it. I think what's also important that's perhaps not so obvious there is the amount of teachers that we've influenced and who are now more aware of the industry. So rather than them talking perhaps negatively or not so positively about the quarrying mining industry, we've engaged with young people and the teachers who perhaps will talk more positively and maybe talk to even more students about, well, actually, the quarrying mining industry offers a diverse range of careers that are really interesting. So as I've just been saying there, we have positively influenced teachers as well as education establishments. One statistic I'm really excited about is when we first talked about this, we thought that we would get a very high percentage of the majors sending people to become industry ambassadors. In actual fact, 62% of our ambassadors are from SMEs, which I think is an amazing. But just goes to show, I think, that the SMEs also understand this project and why it's important, which is why they've committed their employees and allowed them to go from the business for this training as well as the engagement afterwards. On the back of the success so far that Inspiring Futures had, we've reported back to council and board, who have now committed to developing 1,000 more industry ambassadors. So over the next 3 years, we are going to be training 1,000 more volunteers from various different employers, which I think is fantastic. Just goes to show how important this project is and how valued the employers make. So some of the things we've done so far is our industry ambassadors have coordinated 9 site visits, taking students around their site, showing them what we do, raising awareness. Really excited to talk about the fact that industry ambassadors have arranged 2 work experience placements on the back of their engagement. Aggregate Industries currently have the most industry ambassadors trained up, which is a fantastic effort from Aggregate Industries, and obviously we thank them for that. Hanson currently have the most active ambassadors, so the ones that are reaching the top of the leaderboard in the number of activities. Hanson are leading the way there, but there's obviously some other companies. I know Breeden very close, chasing their tail on that one. Really excited to say that following one of these site visits, a young lady was really excited about what she saw and approached the employer and said, look, this is the kind of company I want to work for. I want to be part of this. They interviewed her. They were extremely impressed with her and have offered her a job. So it's happening. It's happening even quicker than I thought. I have always seen this as being a long-term project. But in actual fact, we've already had an actual job placement for a young person coming into the industry. Brilliant. I've also had an inquiry from a young man who had a conversation with an industry ambassador at school. He's now sent me a CV and said, I want to be part of this industry. I would love to get an apprenticeship or a work placement, but mainly looking for an apprenticeship. So we're now circulating that young man's details around employers saying, please can we find this young man a job. Inspiring Futures, the work that our ambassadors are doing, are also making the news. So we've already had press articles published about some of the work that we're doing, or some of the work that the ambassadors are actually doing on the back of this project, which is, again, fantastic news. We're continually arranging ambassador training. So as you can see, the next session that we've arranged is at Chip in Sudbury, and I'm really, really happy to say that's absolutely full. Fantastic effort. So there are approximately 22 people, which is the capacity of the room. We do have some places available for our Stamford session in Lincolnshire on the 19th. Really unfortunate that the one we've arranged in Scotland's on the back of a request from employers in Scotland. We've had a poor response to that so far. We'll continually push. But obviously, if you know anyone in Scotland who you think this would be ideal, please give them a nudge. And then we have another one arranged on the 30th of July, which is going to be in London, and I know we've already getting requests and people signing up for that. If you are in that area, please let us know if you want to be part of this. We would love you to come. There will be other sessions. These are the ones that we've just got confirmed so far, but other sessions will be announced. Now, Hillhead, it's all coming. It's happening next week. Do you have the industry bug? You clearly do, because you're listening to me yabber on about this. So there is an industry bug, as you can see on the top right. We're handing these out at Hillhead. I suggest you pick one up because it's really fun. There's a little image on the little tail of the industry bug, which you can scan with an app called Zapper. And you can see even more content about minerals, matter, and inspiring future through an augmented reality smartphone app. So please pick one up. Our stands, as you can see, MPQC, we've dedicated a stand to Inspiring Futures at Hillhead. The people who are going to be manning this stand are volunteers. These are the STEM ambassadors. They will be attending. We have 10 volunteers coming to man this stand to raise awareness and talk to you about Inspiring Futures, about why they're volunteering, what it is they're doing, why you should get involved. These people are easy to spot. They'll be wearing the polo shirt you see on the left. If you see one of these people, they are volunteering on your behalf to raise awareness of the sector. Please have a chat with them. They would love it if you go and have a chat with them. If you want to learn more about Inspiring Futures and anything more that I've talked about today, I'll be on hand as well on the stand. We'll be in the main pavilion on PB21. The Institute of Quarrying will also be promoting Inspiring Futures and handing out our little industry bugs. So will other training providers such as Mentor and Mineral Products Association, because we're all supporting it. It's an industry project. So thank you for your time today. I know you've all taken time out of your busy schedules to spend some half an hour listening to me talk about Inspiring Futures. We really appreciate it. Like many of the other IQ webinars, these are really valuable, really useful. I hope you found this really useful. So Inspiring Futures, again, minerals do matter. They matter to everybody. We need to raise awareness. Hopefully one of you has been inspired to become a new industry ambassador. And I look forward to talking to you. If any of you use the MPQC CPD app, you can scan our code that's on the screen now, and your CPD will be automatically populated through the app. So I'm going to hand back now to Dave, and once again, thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thanks, Anthony, and thank you for all of you who took the time out to join us today. I'd just like to apologise for the slight stutter playback on the video that was included in there. We will make sure that's been resolved, and you can view that in full on the recording, which will hopefully be following out to you towards the end of next week. If you do have a chance to provide your feedback of today's session on the questionnaire that will be being brought up shortly, that'll be very much appreciated. And again, don't forget to drop by and see us on the stand at Hillhead next week with your membership card. And for any upcoming webinars and events that are of interest, you can register those on the quarrying.org website. Thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you at Hillhead during the course of next week.